Today we are working on my 1986 Nissan 300ZX. If you've seen the last video, you know it does have some problems. It may have a bad head gasket, but I haven't been able to figure out if it's actually leaking into the cylinders. It doesn't smoke, but it's eating coolant. Maybe I'm just missing a leak. Hopefully that's what's going on, but it's got some pretty significant issues. The suspension is completely shot. It's going to need new coilovers in the front. It's going to need new springs and shocks in the back, and it rides terribly. There's some body damage. Someone backed into it over here, and then someone tried to repair it with like half a pound of mud, which is great. And mechanically, it's got a misfire. It probably needs plug wires, but for today, we are going to be focusing on some aesthetics. There's something on the windows that is very hard to get off, so I'm gonna have to buff them because at night when you're driving, you actually can't see if there's any headlights coming on you. So I've never buffed windows, but I'm sure it's pretty self-explanatory. So we're gonna get the buffer out, we're gonna get these windows cleaned up and see if we can make it look better, and then we're gonna do the right thing and ignore all of the mechanical problems and then clean the interior because it is pretty nice. Alright, just so you can see the difference, I've already buffed this a little bit by hand. I need to use the random orbital buffer for this as well. But you can see this is how it all is. It looks dirty, but it's actually like some kind of calcium or some kind of buildup on the window. I've tried to use solvents, and they won't come off. So we're gonna clean this, get all the dirt off of it. And you can just feel the resistance like when you're moving your paper towel. It's very concerning when I first got the car, but after seeing how this came out, I'm not too worried about it. It looks like someone scratched. Oof. That really sucks. Someone scratched the window. Someone was angry with Kizzer, apparently.
This grill isn't broke, but boy has it been around. This is from
Alright, so I've been working on it for probably an hour and it's still not good. I've been finding these really large chips and someone scratched an X into it. So I think I'm just gonna get a new window here and stop wasting time trying to polish it. I got this section pretty good, but it's still, it's super cloudy up in here and it's just gonna it would probably take me 4 hours to get this buffed out properly. And then I still have all these chips. So we're just gonna get a new window eventually. I'm going to move on to the hatch and the passenger window, which is actually much better. It actually looks fairly okay already. So just do a little buffing on that, get that good. Side windows are good. Finish the hatch, and then I'm replacing the windshield, so that'll be totally fine. All right, well I just finished buffing this. Sorry, the cooler's on. It's too hot. But my camera died, so I couldn't get the time lapse, but it came out pretty good. It's still a little oxidized, especially where the wiper blade sits. So I'm gonna hit it a little bit more, see if I can get it a little bit better than this, and then we'll move on to the window. Alright, so it actually came out pretty nice. See here. Still needs a little bit of love, but it'll do for now. Alright, so we're going to switch gears a little bit. Oh, we're having an issue with the blinker switch. Something's going on inside where if you breathe on it, it starts doing stuff. So we're going to open it up. I looked at how much this was online and they want $230 for this. So I was like, rebuild it, save me a couple $100, spend it somewhere else, like maybe a turbo. I don't know, maybe. I'm gonna pull the steering wheel off. There's a couple bolts that are right behind the steering wheel, which is kind of shitty. I don't think there's airbags in here. Hope not. So I'm gonna get the column disassembled, pull that switch out, see if we can fix it. It's probably just a bad contact. or it could just be worn out. I mean, I think it's got 162,000 miles on it, so lots of turns and lots of blinker action. So everything I've read online says that the little contacts in here get bad, and they start going weird. So we're gonna dig into this and see if we can fix it. It might be a lost cause. Got the steering wheel and column reconnected. The light switch is much better. It doesn't just come on randomly anymore, which is nice. I also got some vacuum lines replaced, so the actuator motors work for the blend and the mode door, so that's nice. The AC, I'm gonna see if we can get it fixed, but I'm gonna look at the coolant leak. If you remember from the first video, the coolant had a leak, or it was leaking somewhere, and I couldn't see, it wasn't going on the ground. So it may be a slow leak underneath the plenum, going onto the headers and evaporating before it hits the ground, something like that. So we're gonna fill it up with water, see if it is leaking. I'm hoping it's not the head gasket, but it could be. So we're going to get that thing filled up, see where it's leaking, and then if it doesn't leak, we're gonna have to go drive it and see if we can make it leak, because I want to drive this car, and if it needs the head gaskets, I'm gonna get the head gaskets done. So let's get some water in this thing and see if we can fix it. So it took about 2 gallons of water. Pretty sure there's no thermostat because it instantly starts to move the water, so that could be an issue as well. It's been idling for about 10 minutes and it's not leaking anything, which is strange. I feel like it's got to be consuming the coolant somewhere, or when it gets really, really hot, maybe. Probably take it for a spin. You can still see the water's pretty gross, so we'll put the cap back on, we'll go take it for a spin and see if we can get it to leak. If we get back and there's no water underneath the car, I'll move on to jumping the AC compressor and see if we can get some cold air coming through these vents, because that would be incredible for a 36-year-old car. It's still 170, so obviously there's water in it. We're gonna get back to the house, look underneath this thing, and maybe we're working on AC today, who knows. Well, I was about to start working on the AC, but the blower motor stopped working. So, it's probably the little thing that controls the speed underneath the dash. And I looked it up, and they say you can resolder them. So we're gonna try that, because I'm cheap. And that is right here, this thing. So unplug it, pull that out, and we'll see if we can fix it. Okay, well, I don't know if I broke it or if it was broken prior, but it's smoked. Gonna have to go find a new one in a junkyard somewhere. I'm gonna try and jump it for now, just so I can see if the AC works, and then I'll find one of those for like $500 probably. Alright, so I made a little pigtail connector out of the old amplifier, or resistor if you're normal. But you plug it in and it'll fire up the fan motor when you turn the key on. So we got air. Now we're gonna go and see if we can get the compressor to kick on and see if we have AC. So they say if you jump the 2 wires at the dryer here, it should, in theory, kick on the AC pump no matter what. So we're gonna jump these and then test for 12 volts at the switch here. If we have 12 volts there, then we should be good to go, meaning once we plug it back in, it should turn it back on. If it doesn't turn on, we have a bad clutch. I'm assuming there's probably nothing inside the system. 36 years, who knows? Nope. Oh, look at the AC compressor's on, dude. Anybody got some R12? Check it out. That just means we need Freon, basically. Oh yeah, well, we don't want to burn it up, so we just need to fill it up with some R12. Okay, so the compressor turns on if you jump the switch on the dryer. I'm gonna have to get O-rings, adapters for the ports, and probably find a leak. And I'll need to pull a vacuum on the system. So I'll get all those parts ordered. But for now, oh my God, the brake fluid looks terrible. Oof. I'm gonna jack the car up, look underneath it. I don't have access to the lift today, so what I'm gonna do is just jack it up, take a look at the bushings, tie rods, ball joints, wheel bearings, and see if anything else needs to be replaced, because it does drive like a turd. But we're gonna get it up in the air and take a look at it and see if we can get some parts ordered and get this thing driving just a little bit better. Alright, well, I stopped trying to jack it up because I don't feel comfortable putting it on these jack stands because the frame rail is like totally separating right here, totally concave, and like I just don't feel comfortable putting these things down there. So we're gonna wait till tomorrow so I can get the lift and just put it up on the lift, and then we can go over all the other things that are wrong with it. So let's throw it up in the air and see how bad it is. Start with the wheel bearings. Not bad. Oh! Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, dude, that's why she drives like a turd. Oh my God. That one's good too. Good. Let's take a look at everything underneath. Oh no. Oh God. All right, let's get you in there. I'll start at the back here. Custom muffler, sweet tip welded on, you know the deal. Gas tank seems to be in decent condition. Little dings here and there, typical. Stock suspension is still in. We'll be changing that here soon enough. Oh yeah, dirty old custom welded exhaust. Straight to the factory one. Cats are still in it. Not sure what these are. Vibration control, something like that. I don't know, that's crazy. Speedo has been leaking for a while. Everything's covered in at least a 1/4 inch of grease and oil. Frame rails are pretty much toast on the front. Power steering leak at the rack. Transmission, hopefully it's not a rear mains leaking. This is gross. I think he said he put new outer tie rods on it, and they kind of look decent. Oh no. No, yeah, those are good. So, ooh, sway bar bushings, toast. That shock is toast. Everything else looks like it's been leaking for at least 20 years. People have been jacking it up from the front here. It's typical. Definitely needs a new front bumper, or at least the bottom half. Maybe convert it to a nice lip. Dust shield's kind of bent. I'm sure these wheels aren't straight either. Oh God. Well, that's not good. We're gonna take off the skid plate just because we're here and I'm pretty curious. Oh God. Get some gloves. Probably change the oil on this thing too. especially since we're probably going to be putting some power adders on it. Hey, there's a rock. Let me get you in here. I don't know if this is the factory radiator. It looks to be a little nicer. Like it's aluminum and it's got automatic transmission coolers. I guess you could cool whatever, but it looks aftermarket. Oh God, the radiator is just running straight into the frame right there. Oh, that's not good. Well, there she is. Definitely not pretty. We didn't expect it to be very good. Obviously being 36 years old. And these cars are typically abused by 18-year-olds. And this one's actually been preserved pretty well for being one of the cars that are kind of modified and destroyed or customized, which is nice. So what I'm going to do is we're definitely going to get coils for it. I'm going to have to modify the front knuckles. But I think I've decided on turbocharging the VG. It just seems the easiest and cheapest way to get a little bit more power out of it. Since I've been driving the car around, it's been driving a little bit better. Well, running a little bit better. It still drives like shit, obviously, because that front right is not even attached to the strut tower anymore. So we're gonna get coilovers, gonna get all the pieces for the turbo, gonna get the ECU, the injectors, the intake, and the manifolds, and we're gonna slap all that on. It's got 160,000 miles, so I'll probably do belts, timing belt, power steering, AC, and then we're gonna recharge the AC system just to see if we can actually get it to work, because I do live in New Mexico and it is incredibly hot here. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe because there's gonna be much more Z31 content coming up. We're going to get the turbo installed. We're also going to take it down to the dyno and see how much horsepower it makes once we get everything installed. And hopefully Eric can put a little bit of tune on it. Stay tuned and we'll catch you on the next one.